Ed Bernstein Show. Now, here's Ed.
Rob Garrett is keeping, I was going to say keeping the memory of Neil Diamond alive, but he's still alive. But,
Yeah, he is.
but for viewers who don't know, Neil Diamond has Parkinson's disease and has been unable to perform for quite some time. And Rob Garrett has been #1 premier impersonator of Neil Diamond forever, and everybody acknowledges that. I mean, to a T. I mean, Neil Diamond himself would probably
Oh, thank you. That's
not know that it was video or Rob Garrett.
big shoes to fill.
But recently I saw a show, the Neil Diamond musical, which was running in New York, and I saw it like the last week before it left New York.
A beautiful noise.
A beautiful noise. And it's about, Rob, as you know, Neil Diamond is speaking, an older Neil Diamond is speaking to a therapist about his life. And he's having trouble recalling facts in his life, or he's reluctant to talk about them. So the therapist has a book of all the lyrics.
A big one.
Of Neil Diamond, a lot of songs.
Right.
And they start going through the songs to kind of remind Neil Diamond of different elements of his life. And then a younger Neil Diamond comes in and is acting out and singing those songs while the therapist and the older Neil Diamond are talking. The sadness for me in watching that was that Neil Diamond, the older Neil Diamond, recognized that at his age and his medical condition, that he'll never be able to perform again. And he spent his entire life being identified as Neil Diamond, the performer, the writer, the singer, the entertainer, the actor. And now coming to terms with his life and having, who am I? It ends with a song that I'd like you to talk about, that Neil Diamond wrote called I Am.
I am, I said.
I am, I said.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the significance to you of that song, and what was your feeling about the show?
Well, first of all, I love the show. I mean, it's very typical Broadway. Some of it's a little bit over the top, which you would expect. And both guys that did their job playing Neil Diamond did wonderfully. I sat up front, and I wanted to take in everything about the show. And it was just fantastic. Now, the show has ended on Broadway. It's on tour right now. And not that I'm supposed to be promoting them, or it's my job, but you can go to abeautifulnoise.com and you can see their schedule. As far as the song you're talking about, I Am, I said, we talked about this. It's both of our favorite Neil Diamond songs, correct? Yours too?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. And I even tell my audience every night it's my favorite Neil Diamond song. And it's a introspective account of his life or how he felt at that time in 1971. And he called it the most personal song. This is coming from him. The most personal song he ever had to write. Took him months to write this song, perhaps longer than any other song. And it just tells about it. I think a lot of people don't know the story behind it, but he just finished auditioning for the movie Lenny, which Dustin Hoffman got, and we actually can't ever see anyone else doing that except for Dustin Hoffman. But he auditioned, and Neil Diamond was becoming a very big star, but he got turned down for the part. They said he did a great audition, but he didn't get the part. And he went into a little bit of a depression about it, you know, and he started looking at his life, and it was failure for Neil Diamond. It was failure, and he sat and wrote the words. Nobody can write something like, "I'm not a man." Think about, "I'm not a man who likes to swear, but I never cared for the sound of being alone." I mean, who else? That's really deep. Who else can write that lyric except for Neil Diamond? Yeah. And it's my favorite song. It's very emotional. I've seen men and women cry when I sing that song because, like, I think, yeah, you said it too. Everyone can relate to it and put their own life's perspective to that song.
That's a great song. And as you get older in life, you can hear a song and then it has a different meaning to you at a different age, depending on where you are in life.
Absolutely.
It's the making of a great song. It happens to me with the Beatles all the time.
Right.
A lot of his songs are autobiographical.
Very much so.
Coming to America is about his family, coming.
His grandma.
Coming into New York, right? From. And so it's a great thing. When you're singing, and by the way, I should mention, you're over at the Oyo, OYO Hotel, next door to what used to be the Tropicana Hotel.
That is correct.
Right.
2 months ago, I was telling people it's next to the Tropicana, but now it's not.
Yeah, but you're there every...
Sunday, Monday, 4 nights a week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And the only ongoing Neil Diamond show in the world, as far as on a continuous basis.
So when you're singing a Neil Diamond, so many great songs.
Yes, sir.
I mean, how many songs did he actually write?
Do you know? I don't know the exact number. Obviously,
hundreds.
I was just going to say that hundreds of them, and he's had 37 top 40 hits, which not too many people could say.
So when you're singing a song like "Coming to America,"
yes.
Like in or I Am, I Said.
Yes.
What's are you trying to visualize at the time how Neil Diamond felt in writing the song, and you're projecting out that, or what are you thinking about?
The answer is yes, and not only trying, I don't have to try that hard because I actually was born in Brooklyn where he was, and come from a Jewish background, which he was. And my grandparents did come on those boats and planes, and so there are certain songs of his I actually, it's not difficult for me to relate to. America, and I Am, I Said, for sure. Did you ever read about a frog who dreamed of being a king and who became one? I mean, we all want to think that. It's easy for us all of it to think that it's about us. So the answer is yes. Except I don't have to try that hard because a lot of his songs, probably why I became such a huge Neil Diamond fan at such a young age, is that he's writing about me. He's writing, and that's his talent, by the way, to write songs. I mean, that's his genius, to write songs that we go, that's me. I Am, I Said is almost like his My Way.
Right. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And so, how did you become a Neil Diamond tribute artist? I mean, is it your fascination with Neil Diamond? Was it that you sounded like him or you looked like him? I mean, what came first?
Okay. So, this month actually marks 45 years that I've been an active, continuous Las Vegas performer. I started my own band in 1980, and it was a typical cover band, and we did well for 15 years. But because he was one of my idols, I actually made sure we did a lot of his songs. And for years and years and years, we'd have people come see the show, my band, people from Legends in Concert. And they would say, Rob, you shouldn't be doing this. You should be in Legends in Concert. And it took me 15 years to make that decision. It wasn't an easy decision because I didn't know, I don't want to be up in person. And I did. After 15 years, things were slowing down a little bit with the band, and I made that decision to try the impersonator thing. And Paul Revere from the Raiders auditioned me, because he ran the Hawaii Legends show. And for one-on-one, he auditioned me, and he gave me the break. And I was supposed to he sent me to Hawaii, by the way. That's because, that was my first three years. And so it was Legends, in Legends in Concert. And I never looked back.
Is Legends still going, or?
Not in Vegas, it isn't, but they have sister shows around the country.
Right.
We know for the longest time they were the longest running show in Vegas.
Right.
But not in Vegas anymore.
Is Neil Diamond? We went to Hawaii to do Neil Diamond. Is there different parts of the country or the world more Neil Diamond fans than other places?
Absolutely, and that was scary for me because it was a tourist show, and most of Hawaii's tourists are Japanese or Asian. So I was scared, but I was nervous. But Paul Revere gave me that. He wanted me there, and So, but it turns out they love Neil Diamond. You know, they love Neil Diamond. But yeah, the answer is yes. There are. I mean, Neil Diamond is loved everywhere. Here's the beauty of the show I'm doing at Oyo. A good portion of our audience are tourists, and a lot of them are from other countries, not just from this country, but from other countries, and they never got to see him.
Right.
They go, "We've been Neil Diamond fans, Brazil, Japan." He never went there. He never went there. So I'm getting to perform for people that he from countries that he never went to.
Yeah, and look, when he passes,
Yeah.
you know, he's not well, and when he passes, you know, for you to keep the memory alive, I mean, it's happening with Sinatra, you know, happening with Michael Jackson, right? I mean, they didn't lose any popularity after the Sinatra passed. Or
Not
Michael
those
Jackson.
guys, because
Right.
they're like Neil, they're icons.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I mean, he's had it doesn't seem like this long, but he's had Parkinson's now for 8 years. You know, he's been done for 8 years. You know, as far as performing for 8 years, and when he goes, and we don't want to wait for that day, but he's an American. You would agree he's an American treasure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's going to be like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be like
What
that.
was the last song that he wrote, do you know?
The last song he wrote, well, I don't know the last song he wrote, but I know the album. It was
Okay.
called Home Before Dark, and he wrote everything on there. So I couldn't tell you, out of all the songs on there, which is the last one, which was the last one.
What is his greatest talent? Is it writing? Is it performing? Is it singing? What is it?
That's a great question. This man thought he was just going to be a writer in '66, and other people were going to record his songs, and that would have made him happy. You know, the Monkees recorded "I'm a Believer" and made it into the biggest hit of the year.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that Neil Diamond wrote that song.
A lot of people don't, and Red Red Wine.
Yeah.
And and UB40 took it to #1. But Neil just hoped he'd be a songwriter. He ended up becoming one of our greatest and most exciting and electric live performers. I don't think even he saw that coming. So I don't know which facet of Neil. I think Neil Diamond is all of the above. The great writer, the great electric, charismatic performer, all of them.
Hey, if you have an opportunity to catch Rob Garrett, because you're not going to catch Neil Diamond, so if you can catch Rob over at the OYO Hotel, OYO. We're sitting here trying to get the pronunciation. OYO. Next to formerly was Tropicana Hotel. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9 p.m.
Right.
That's
It used to be Hooters, used to be San Remo.
Yeah.
Over the years, it's changed.
You may catch a tear in his eye when he's singing "I Am."
Well, you definitely will catch a tear in my eye, because I don't think I've never not shed a tear or two doing that. It's my favorite, and it hits right here.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Ed.